Katie. I teach the strength and flex class here at Better Living Yoga, and that's what I'll be teaching today. Today's class will be focused a little bit more on the upper body, so shoulders, neck, arms. So we'll be doing exercises that not only strengthen, but also open up and help with flexibility in these areas. Some of the props, if you have them at home, that we will be using, and I'll give you options if you don't have those props at home, is 2 blocks. So if you have 2 blocks, grab 2 blocks. We'll also be implementing a strap. Things that you can use instead of a strap are like a dog leash, a long beach towel. You can kind of use that as a makeshift strap if you don't have a strap at home. And then options are for blankets. So blankets are good that if you're on a hard surface for the knees, if your knees don't like hard surfaces, but if you're on carpet, you might be okay. We can also use the blankets for seated postures. So if your low back is tight, sitting on a blanket can help with seated postures, which we will be doing some of those today too. So those are the props that we'll be using, and let's get into it. Once again, my name's Katie, and I'll be guiding you today through your flow. So the first setup that we're going to do here is we're going to set up with 2 blocks, and I'll give you an option in just a moment if you don't have 2 blocks at home. But if you do, we're going to place 1 block on the lowest setting, long ways, and then the second block on the second highest setting, about 6 or so inches away from that first block. It can vary depending on how tall you are and your neck. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of lay down on these blocks. This first block is going to go behind the shoulder blades. So you want to think of like a bra strap area, this area right here. So coming to lay down on the block, the shoulder blades go on this first block. And then the base of the skull, so if you touch your head at the bottom of the skull, the bony parts, that's where you want on that second block. Arms will come alongside the body. Options for either legs bent or legs straight, just depends on how it feels to your low back. Either one is great. You could always bring the knees together and walk the feet a little bit wider if your low back's feeling really tight. But this is where we'll begin our session today. So options. If you don't have any blocks at home, just come to lay down on your back instead. And bring the arms kind of out like a little cactus. So you're going to want to bring them out. Just bring the elbows out to the sides, just like so. So that's an option if you don't have blocks at home to work with. I don't know all of us do. You can always order those kind of things from Amazon. It might take a week or so right now, but it'll work. So coming to lay down either on the blocks or on our backs, whichever option is best for you. If these blocks are really uncomfortable for you, you could always take the option without the block as well, if that's just something that's better suited for you today. And as you kind of just settle in on these blocks, just begin to take a few nice deep inhales and nice deep exhales. Just taking a moment to check in with the body, noticing the way that you're feeling today. Taking a moment to slow down and really just connect with the breath. Allow the shoulders to relax down and away from the ears. Let the center of the chest open up towards the ceiling. So this practice we'll be doing today, like I mentioned, it's strengthening as well as working on opening the body. These postures can help with the tendency that the spine has to kind of round and hunch forward. If you do a lot of sitting, this is a great practice to kind of reverse those tendencies that start to happen when we do a lot of sitting, like the shoulders rounding forward, the kind of hunch or overarch in the upper back as the shoulders round forward. This is going to kind of combat all of that today. We'll also be using these postures to not only open our body physically, but to open the heart space, the heart chakra, and open ourselves up to a little bit more love and compassion during this time. So I like to begin with a breathing exercise. It'll be real simple, just kind of helps us get connected with the breath and slow down a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale for 3 seconds and exhale for 3 seconds. And I'll guide you through a few rounds. So take a normal inhale and a normal exhale. And then inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to go through 2 more rounds. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Last round. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Let's return to normal breath, whatever that is for you. If the legs are straight, bring the knees to a bend. Bring the knees to touch and walk the feet a few inches wider than the hips. And from here, just begin to take the knees from right to left side of your mat, like imagine little windshield wipers. And continue to take nice deep inhales and exhales as we move through these postures today. Bring the knees back to center. Walk the feet back into hip distance. And from here, we'll grab behind the thighs to come up off of our block setup. From here, we'll just take those blocks off to the side of our mats. If you are using the blocks, then we'll come to lay down on our back. Once you've made your way onto your back, we're going to hug both knees into the chest for Uttanasana. Now in this Uttanasana, if you'd like to, you could take a little rock from side to side if that feels good to your body. Or you can always stay still if that's better suited for you today. Really tune in and see what your body's needing. We'll come to a still. Keep the right knee hugged into the chest. Release left foot to the mat. Left leg could stay bent or left leg could straighten depending on how it feels to your low back. Begin to take that right foot in some circles, point and flex the foot, wiggle the toes around, just bring some movement into the feet. Bring the right foot to a still. Take the right knee into your left hand, take the knee across the body towards the left side of your mat, coming into a supine twist. You can always support this knee with a block if you'd like to. Or a pillow if you have one of those handy instead of a block. That's something else that you could use. Try to let that right shoulder root down towards your mat. Right palm will face up towards the ceiling. Take deep breaths here into the right side of the body. We'll bring the right knee back to center. Hug the left knee back into the chest. Release the right foot to the mat. Right leg could be bent or straight, depending on how it feels to you. And begin to take that left foot in some circles. Point and flex the foot, wiggle the toes around. You might have some pops and cracks, just like my ankles do. That's totally normal. Take that left knee into the right hand. Take it across the body towards the right side of your mat. You can always support the left knee with a block or pillow if you have one of those at home. Try to root that left shoulder down. Left palm will face up towards the ceiling. Take deep breaths into the left side of the body here. bring the left knee back to center. And we'll hug the right knee back into the chest. So we have both knees hugged in right now. From here, just take the knees in some circles, going one direction. And think of massaging the back of the pelvis and the low back as you take the knees in circles. And then going the opposite direction that you were previously going in circles. Bring the knees back to center. From here, release both feet to the mat. Feet will be hip distance. And from here, grab a block and place a block in between the knees. If you don't have a block, you could grab a pillow and kind of fold it up twice if it's a bigger one, just so you have a little bit of resistance, a little bit of firmness. From here, we're going to take an inhale and squeeze that block that's in between the knees. And then on exhale, release the squeeze with the block. Stays where it's at. Inhale, squeeze the block. And exhale, release. We're activating the core, the inner thighs here. Take an inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release. We're going to do two more. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release. One more here. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release. Adding on to this, take an inhale, squeeze your block. Press into the feet and lift the hips up towards the ceiling. You can use the hands for a little bit of support if you'd like to. And then on exhale, release the spine and the hips back down to your mat, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, squeeze the block, lift the hips. And exhale, release the spine back down. Adding on to that, inhale, squeeze the block, lift the hips, lift the arms up and overhead towards the back end of your mat. And then on exhale, release arms, spine, and hips back down. Inhale, squeeze the block, lift the hips, extend the arms up and back. And then on exhale, release arms, spine, and hips back down. One more here. Inhale, press and lift. And exhale to release. Remove the block. Bring the knees to touch and walk the feet a few inches wider than the hips. And then take the knees from right to left side of your mat again, just like we did earlier on the blocks. Bring the knees back to center, walk the feet back into hip distance. We're going to roll off onto one side. We're going to make our way up to a seat, a Sukhasana, comfortable seated position. So this is where you might use a blanket to sit on, especially if you feel like you're falling backwards. And definitely sit on a blanket. It helps bring the pelvis to neutral, so it's a little bit easier to sit. If legs crossed isn't comfortable, you could always sit with legs straight instead, if that's better for you today. You want to make sure you have your strap handy, or dog leash, or whatever it is that you are using for a makeshift strap. And sit up nice and tall. Root the sit bones down into the mat, or blanket, or whatever you're sitting on. Sit bones are those bony parts of your butt. Root those down into what you're sitting on, and let the crown of your head reach up towards the ceiling. So nice long spine. And from here, we're going to drop the chin to our chest. Then begin to take the chin from one shoulder to the other. We're going to use our breath. So take an inhale, take the chin up to one shoulder. Doesn't really matter which one's first. And then on exhale, chin will come down and across to the other shoulder. Inhaling there. And then exhaling to come back down and across to the other side. And just continue to move from one shoulder to the other for a few rounds. Notice if your shoulders have started to round forward, you've started to hunch forward. Lift the center of the chest up. Imagine that block was in your upper back, pressing the shoulder blades forward. Just stand nice and tall. exhale, bring the chin back to the center of the chest. Use one of your palms to press the head back to an upright. And just begin to take the shoulders in some circles, going one direction. Continue to take those nice deep inhales and exhales. And we'll go the opposite direction of the circles. Bring the shoulders to a still. From here, we're going to interlace the hands at the base of our skull. And the thumbs are going to kind of come along the jawline. Elbows will come wide out to the side. Take an inhale. On exhale, bring the elbows towards one another, round the upper back, hugging towards yourself. Inhale, open the arms, open the chest. Then on exhale, round the upper back, hug the elbows in towards one another. Inhale, open. So it's like a seated cat-cow. If you have wrist problems, this is a good one to do instead of normal cat-cow. Exhale, hug in. Let's continue going through this for a few rounds. Inhaling to open the arms and chest. And exhaling to hug in. We'll go through one more round. Open the arms, release the interlace. From here, you're going to grab your strap. You're going to take one end of the strap in the hand. I usually recommend taking the buckle ends in one hand. Then you're going to lengthen the strap, and this is going to vary for all of us. So depending on the length of your arms and all that fun stuff, it'll depend on how long the strap is. Make it nice and taut. From here, you're going to take an inhale, bring the hands up to the ceiling. And then on exhale, arms are going to come down and behind you, but it's going to depend on how far you go. It might be right here, it might be all the way down, it just depends on your shoulders. Inhaling to bring the hands back up above the head, then exhaling, bringing the hands down out in front of you. Inhale, strap lifts to the ceiling. Exhale, strap comes down and behind. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Just continue going through these movements for a few rounds. This is called shoulder flossing. You might notice that your shoulders begin to warm up. You might notice as you continue these movements, they get a little bit easier. It can help increase lubrication in the shoulder joint. Of course, be mindful if you do have any shoulder injuries. Only go as far as feels okay to your body. Always listen to your body and what it's telling you. Let's go through one more round. Let's take that strap off to the side. And from here, we're going to take the right hand out in front of us, and we're going to pull the fingers towards us. Press the heel of the hand forward. This is a little stretch for the wrist and hands. Take a few deep breaths here. If you work with your hands a lot, this is something good to do on a normal basis, especially if you work at a computer. And take the fingers down towards the ground, but still pull them towards you, stretching through the top of the hand and wrist. And then we'll switch the hands, taking the left hand out in front of us, pulling towards us. Taking those fingers down towards the ground, but still pulling towards you. Few deep breaths here. And gently release the hand, take the hands in some circles. From here, we're going to make our way onto the hands and knees. We're going to come to a tabletop position. So this is where the blanket, once again, might come in handy if you have hardwood floors. You can always bring the blanket underneath your knees, or you can always bring the blanket underneath your feet if your feet tend to cramp up here. So those are options that you can use your blanket for. We're going to bring the shoulders, stack the shoulders right over the wrists, hips over the knees. Feet will be hip distance. Actively press the mat away from you. You don't want to sink into the shoulders, so press the ground away from you with the hands. Draw the belly button to the spine. That'll lengthen the low back and tailbone. Look forward. Take a nice deep inhale, cow pose. And then on exhale, press the mat away from you. Round the upper back. Look in between the thighs for cat. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale to cat. Just continue moving for a few rounds through this cat-cow with your own breath. If your wrists bother you here, you could always come onto fists instead. Or you could do the seated cat-cow that we did earlier if that's a better option for you here. We'll go through one more round of cat-cow. We'll come back to tabletop, so bring the spine to a neutral space. From here, we're going to extend the left leg to the back of your mat, flex the foot, then begin to lift the left leg away from the mat. Try to keep the hips squared. Think of lifting the inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Either both hands can stay rooted, or if you want to, you could extend the right hand forward. Notice once again, if you're sinking into that left shoulder, press the ground away from you. Reach through the fingertips to the front of the room and reach through the heel towards the back of the room. Breathe. Gaze will be down at the mat so the back of the neck can be nice and long. Inhale. On exhale, release the left knee to your mat. We're going to take the right arm and thread it behind the left and bring right shoulder and ear either to rest on your mat or you can put it on a block. If the ground's a little bit far away or it's not comfortable, you could always bring a block underneath the cheek just like so. Coming to thread the needle. Other options here, you could bring the knees about hip distance or wider. Left hand could be by the face, it could be reaching to the top of your mat, or reaching behind the low back, just depends on how it feels to your shoulders. What we don't want to do is we don't want to strain the right neck and shoulder. We don't want to put all the weight of the body in that right side. So use the knees to distribute a little bit of the weight, use that left hand, take deep breaths. Bring the left hand back in front of the face. Press into the left palm to come back up onto the hands and knees. From here, extend right leg to the back of the mat, flex the foot, lift the leg. Try to keep the hips squared towards your mat, lift with the inner thigh. Either both hands stay rooted or left hand can reach towards the front of the room. Actively press down to that right hand, don't sink into the shoulder. Take deep breaths. Inhale. On your exhale, release the right knee back to the mat. We're going to thread the left arm behind the right, coming to thread the needle on the other side. So once again, you can always use a block underneath the cheek. Right hand by the face, reaching to the front of the mat, or reaching behind the low back. Just depends on how that feels to you. Make sure to not putting all the weight in that left shoulder and neck space. We're distributing the weight into the other areas of the body that are on the mat. Take deep breaths. Bring the right hand back in front of the face. Press into the palms, come back up onto the hands and knees. From here, we're going to make our way to a child's pose. Take the big toes to touch. Knees can be as close together, as wide apart as feels good to your body. And we're going to set the hips towards the heels. You can always bring a blanket behind the backs of the knees or a pillow or bolster if you have one at home. Hands can walk straight out from the shoulders, or if that doesn't feel good to the shoulders, you could always bring the forearms onto the mat. Forehead can rest on mat or block. Take deep breaths here. Walk both hands to the right side a few inches. But still keep anchoring down to that left hip. Walk the hands through center to the left side. Anchor down to the right hip. Walk the hands back to center. Press the palms firmly into the mat. Lift the hips away from the heels. Tuck the toes. Feet will be about hip distance. Lift the knees. Send the hips up and back, coming to downward facing dog. Hands can be about shoulder distance or a little bit wider if the shoulders are tight. Same thing with feet, about hip distance or a little bit wider. You can stay still here if you'd like to. Maybe bend the knees, kind of shift the hips a little bit as we kind of settle into this first down dog. Allow the heels to come down towards the mat. They may not get there today. Press firmly into the palms, pull navel to spine as you lift up and back through the sit bones. That's once again, it's bony part of your butt. Breathe. Shift the shoulders over the wrist, come to a plank pose. So options for plank, knees could be lifted or knees could rest on your mat depending on what you're needing today. But we're actively pressing the mat away from us with the hands, pulling belly button to spine. Breathe. Take an inhale. On exhale, bend the elbows, keep them hugged in. Slowly lower all the way down to your mat. Tops of feet will press into the mat. Elbows hugged in, palms by low ribs. Take an inhale, lift the chest away from the mat. Low Cobra, Bhujangasana. Inhale. And then on exhale, release chin and chest back towards the mat. From here, tuck the toes. Press the mat away from you to come back towards that plank posture. Knees lifted or knees on the mat. And then hips go up and back, downward facing dog. Once again, shift the shoulders over the wrists, come back to plank. Knees lifted or knees on the mat. Reach the crown of the head to the front of the room, tailbone towards the heels. Breathe. Inhale. This time on exhale, you can lower all the way to the belly or lower halfway chaturanga. Elbows still stay hugged in. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. Shoulders over wrists for up dog. And then on exhale, we'll make our way to downward facing dog. Hips will go up and back. So just building a little bit as we work towards some flow, towards some sun salutations. You might notice your heart rate might be increasing. You might feel a little bit warm, maybe a little bit sweaty. That's normal, that's good. That means your body's heated up, it's warmed up, it's ready to go. From here, we're going to lift the heels, bend the knees, take an inhale. And then on exhale, we're going to step, walk, or hop to the front of our mats, bringing our feet towards our hands. And once you're there, and there's no rush, take an inhale to lengthen the spine. Hands will either come to mat, shins, or blocks. Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. And then on your exhale, crown of head comes towards the mat, fold forward, Uttanasana. Press into the feet, come all the way to a stand, reach the hands to the ceiling, Urdhva Hastasana. Then on exhale, bend the elbows, lift the chest towards the ceiling, Prana Mudra. Inhale, reach the hands back to the ceiling. Nice long spine. On exhale, fold forward. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine straight out from the hips, hands at mat, shins, or blocks. And then on our exhale, we're going to plant the hands, step back towards a plank, knees lifted or knees on the mat, and lower either halfway chaturanga or all the way to the belly. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. And then on exhale, coming to downward facing dog. Hips will go up and back. Taking nice deep breaths here, really pressing the entire hand, not just the palm, but the fingers, the knuckles, all of it into the mat. Breathe. Lift the heels, bend the knees, take an inhale. On exhale, walk, step, or hop to the front of your mat. Take an inhale, lift the spine halfway, hands at mat, shins, or blocks, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Press into the feet, come all the way to a stand, reach the hands to the ceiling. And then bend the elbows, open the chest, exhale. Inhale, reach the hands. Nice long spine, fold forward on exhale. Inhale, half lift, lengthen. Then on exhale, we're going to plant the hands. We're going to step back to a plank. We're going to lower all the way down to our belly, and we're going to stay there for a moment. From here, we're going to bring the forearms out in front of us. Bend the knees, reach the feet up to the ceiling. Then take the lower legs from right to left side. The legs to a still, straighten the legs. From here, we're going to bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. So the elbows are underneath the shoulders, so they'll be shoulder distance. Palms may be rooted down into your mat. We're coming to a Sphinx pose. So same thing as earlier. Notice if you're sinking into your shoulders, press the ground away from you. Press into the palm, press into the forearms, press into the elbows. From there, lengthen your tailbone towards your feet. We tend to kind of dump it to the low back and arch it. We want to lengthen. Root down through the palms, and imagine that block was in your upper back still. Imagine that block was pressing your chest forward. So root down through the elbows and pull the chest forward, but keep lengthening the tailbone towards the heels. Sphinx pose. Breathe. From here, either palms can stay rooted or hands can interlace, just depends on how it feels to your wrists. We're going to make our way to a forearm plank. So forearm plank, we're going to tuck the toes, a couple options here. We're going to lift the hips. You can stay here with just the hips lifted. This might be enough for you. If you want to take it a little bit further, lift the knees. We still want to keep those shoulders over the elbows, reach the tailbone towards the back of our mat, and root down. Take nice deep breaths, either knees lifted or knees on the mat, whichever you're using. Breathe. Inhale. On exhale, release the knees, release the hips, tops of feet press into the mat, but open the chest forward. Root down through the elbows, Sphinx pose once again. palms rooted or hands interlaced, coming back to forearm plank. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, maybe lift the knees too. Couple options here as well. If the knees are lifted, if you want to, you could always take the hips from right to left side, do little hip dips, or you can just stay in center. If you've got some low back stuff going on, staying in center might be a better option for you, but you can always take hips from side to side if you're feeling good. If you're moving the hips, we'll come back to center, take an inhale. And then on exhale, release the knees, release the hips, come back to Sphinx. Keep the chest lifted, pull the hands back by the low ribs, low cobra, inhale. And then exhale, release the chest down. Tuck the toes, engage the belly, press back up to plank. And then downward facing dog, hips will go up and back. Breathing here. Lift the heels, bend the knees, take an inhale. On exhale, walk, step, or hop to the front of your mat. On inhale, lift and lengthen the spine halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Root down through the feet, reach the hands up to the ceiling, Urdhva Hastasana. Then bend the elbows, open the chest, exhale. Inhale, reach the hands to the ceiling. Exhale, bend the knees, sit the hips down in back chair pose, Utkatasana. Weight in the heels. Notice what's going on in the low back. We don't want to arch it. We're going to lengthen through the low back. If arm extension bothers you, hands could always be at heart instead. Breathe here. Take an inhale. Fold forward on exhale. Inhale, half lift, lengthen, and then just fold forward on exhale. Bend the knees, hips to heels, come back to that chair pose, Utkatasana. From here, take an inhale. Bend the elbows, open the chest, exhale. Bring the hands behind the low back, interlace the hands, or you can use your strap in between the hands, or whatever else you're using in place of a strap. Lengthen the knuckles away from you, take an inhale. Fold forward on exhale. From here, take a big bend in the left knee. Take left shoulder to the left knee, look to the right. You'll feel a stretch in the IT band that runs down the outside of your leg from the hip to the knee to the ankle. This is where you might be feeling a stretch here. Straighten the left leg, bend right knee, take right shoulder to right knee, look to the left. Straighten the right leg. Bring the hands to the low back, release the interlace, bend the knees, come back to that chair pose, Utkatasana, hands will reach forward and up. Or come to the heart space if the shoulders don't like that. Inhale, fold forward on exhale. Inhale, half lift, lengthen. From here, we're going to step our left foot back. Release the left knee all the way to the mat, and we're going to come to a low lunge. So for low lunges, you want the right knee over the right ankle. And if your left knee is bothering you, you can always bring a blanket underneath that left knee. So this is another space that you could use your blanket or a little pillow or something. From here, we're going to reach the hands up to the ceiling. Root down to the right foot for balance and stability. Don't dump into the hips. From here, grab hold of your left wrist. Take a little side bend towards the right. Keep pulling the belly in. Keep rooting down for that right foot. Take deep breaths. Come back to center, take a nice deep inhale. On exhale, bend the elbows, open the chest up towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach the hands. And from here, we're going to frame the right foot with hands either on your mat, or you can use blocks here as well. From here, we're going to walk that right foot forward a few inches. Then begin to straighten the leg, bring the toes towards your face. Hands will come beneath the shoulders, either on blocks or on your mat. This is half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. It's okay to keep a bend in the right knee if that feels good to your hamstrings, or if your hamstrings or low back are really tight. Draw right hip back, left hip forward. So that same space area that we have the block in, right up here, I want to think of lengthening through that space. Sometimes we tend to kind of overarch and hunch forward, but we still want to think of lengthening here. Chin will be gently tucked so the back of the neck can follow the lengthening of the spine. Breathe. Begin to re-bend the right knee over the right ankle. Plant left hand beneath the shoulder. It will either be on a block or on the mat. So we're going to reach the right hand up to the ceiling, so twist towards your right leg. From here, we're beginning to take that right arm in some circles. Going one direction. And then the opposite direction. And reframe the right foot with the hands. We're going to tuck the toes on the left leg, lift the left knee, and step left foot forward next to right foot. From here, take an inhale, lengthen the spine. We're going to step the right foot to the back of the mat, release the right knee to mat, left knee stacks over the ankle, and we'll reach the hands up to the ceiling. Don't dump into the hips, root through that left foot. Grab hold of your right wrist, lean off to the left. Keep pulling the belly in, breathe. Back to center on an inhale. Then on your exhale, release hands to frame left foot. Hands can be on blocks or mat. And from here, we'll walk the left foot forward a few inches. Then bring the toes towards your face, coming to half splits. Hands will come beneath the shoulders, blocks or mat, Ardha Hanumanasana. You can always keep a bend in that left knee if that feels good to you. Keep reaching the sternum forward. That'll also help with the upper back, keeping it from over-rounding. While we have natural curves in the spine, we don't need to over-accentuate those curves. Take deep breaths. Begin to re-bend the left knee over the left ankle. Right hand comes beneath the right shoulder to either mat or block. We're going to twist towards our left leg, reach the left hand up to the ceiling. And from here, we're going to take that left arm in some circles. This kind of does the same thing as we did earlier with the shoulder flossing. We're using movement to help with mobility here in the shoulder, and also using it to help warm the shoulder up, increase lubrication. As always, listen to your body. If something hurts you, then don't do it. You know your body best. And then go the opposite way. And from here, we'll reframe the left foot with the left hand. Tuck the toes on the right leg, lift the right knee. And step right foot forward next to left foot. Take an inhale to half lift, lengthen the spine, Ardha Uttanasana. And then on exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Press into the feet, come all the way to a stand, reach the hands up to the ceiling, and then bend the elbows, open the chest, exhale. Inhale, reach the arms, then hands come through heart center, exhale. So from here, here, we're going to step our left foot back about 3 to 4 feet, and we're going to come to a lunge stance. We're going to bring our block with us. So we're going to take our block, we're going to take the short ends of the blocks in our palms. We're going to take the block straight out in front of us. Shoulder height to start. Draw that right hip back, left hip forward. You could always keep a little bend in the left knee if your low back's bothering you here. And from here, we're going to take an inhale, take the block to the ceiling. On exhale, bend the elbows, block's going to come behind the head. Inhale, reach the block to the ceiling. Exhale out in front of you. Inhale. Exhale, keep the elbows hugged in. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to do a few more rounds of this. Inhale, block to the ceiling. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, reach. Exhale, extend. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to go through 2 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more round. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. From here, you're going to place your block down on your mat. Then we're going to release the left heel down. We're going to make our way to Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. So Warrior 2, we want the right heel to line with the middle of the left arch. That back foot will be angled in slightly towards the top left corner of your mat. Right knee bends over the ankle. Arms extend out to a T. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Gaze will go over the middle finger of the right hand. Breathe. Drop the back arm. Take the front arm to the ceiling. Reverse your warrior. Take an inhale. And then come back to Warrior 2 on exhale. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, Warrior 2. 1 more. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, Warrior 2. Pause and breathe here. Extend the arms in opposite directions. Take deep breaths. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then on exhale, we're going to frame the right foot with the hands either on blocks or on your mat. Lift the left heel up like a lunge. We'll step the left foot forward next to the right foot. Take an inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Press into the feet, come all the way to a stand, reach the hands. Then hands will come through heart center, exhale. Step the right foot back, coming to a high lunge on the left side. Left knee stacked over the ankle, we're bringing our block with us. Same thing, short ends of the blocks in between the palms. Hands will come straight out from the shoulder, shoulder height. Hug to center, imagine you had a block you're squeezing in between your legs. Take an inhale, block comes to the ceiling. Exhale, bend the elbow, block comes behind you. Inhale, reach. Exhale, extend. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I'm going to go through 2 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Place the block on the ground. Release the right heel to the mat. Coming to Warrior 2 on the other side. Left heel lines with middle of right arch, knees over the ankle. Back foot's angled in slightly towards the top right corner of your mat. Arms extend out, Warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2. Drop the back arm, take the front arm to the ceiling, reverse the warrior, inhale. And then come back to Warrior 2. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, Warrior 2. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. reverse your warrior. And then on exhale, frame the left foot with the hands on blocks or mat. Lift the right heel and step right foot forward next to our left foot. Take an inhale, half lift, lengthen the spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Press into the feet, come all the way to a stand, hands reach to the ceiling. And then hands will come through heart center, exhale. From here, we're going to come to the center of our mats. We're going to step our feet about, we're going to take our arms out to a T and step our feet about wrist distance here. So we'll come underneath the wrists. If that feels too wide, you can always make it shorter. Feet will be parallel to the short ends of your mats. Hands will come to the hips. We're going to externally rotate our right leg. Right foot will align with middle of left arch. We're going to come back to that warrior two stance of Virabhadrasana 2. Knee over ankle, arms reach out. From here, we're going to drop the back arm, take the front arm to the center, reverse your warrior, take an inhale. We're going to bring the right arm to the belly, left arm reaches towards the front of your room, no bottom arm side angle. Inhale, reverse the warrior. And then exhale, right arm to belly, left arm reaches. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, right arm to belly, left arm reaches. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to warrior two. Drop the back arm, take the front arm to the ceiling. We're going to take this back left hand behind the low back and towards that right thigh. From here, take an inhale. On exhale, reach right hand to the front of the room, right forearm to right thigh, extended side angle with a bind. So if this bothers your shoulder, totally fine. You can release it, take any other variation. This is a normal variation. But if that bothers you, you don't have to stay there. Hand could always be at the thigh or come to the outside of the right leg, block or mat. Extended side angle, Utthita Parshvakonasana. Take nice deep breaths. Release the left hand if you bound it. Reach with that left hand, come back to warrior two. Straighten the right leg. From here, shift the hips back, reach that right hand forward. Right hand will come beneath the shoulder, either to a block, shin, or a mat. Either one. Triangle pose. Left hand will be at the hip or reaching up to the ceiling. Utthita Trikonasana. Try not to lock out this right leg. If anything, take a slight bend. Root down to the right big toe. Take deep breaths. Press into the feet to come back to a stand. Rebend the knee, warrior two. Breathe here. Straighten the right leg, turn the toes to face me. We're going to externally rotate the left leg. Move the block. Left heel will align with right arch, coming to that warrior two stance. Knee over the ankle, arms reach out in a T. Drop the back arm, take the front arm to the ceiling, reverse your warrior, take an inhale. And then on exhale, left arm will come to the belly, right arm will reach towards the front of the room. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, left arm to belly, right arm reaches. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, left arm to belly. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to warrior two. We're going to take the right arm down and back, then take that right hand behind the low back and towards the left hip. Take an inhale. Reach the left hand forward on exhale, left forearm to thigh, extended side angle with a bind. Like I said on the other side, if this bothers your shoulder, no problem. Take any arm variation for that top right arm that feels good to you. Breathe. Release the right hand, reach it up to the ceiling, lean with that right hand, come back to warrior two. Straighten the left leg. Shift the hips back, reach that left hand forward. Left hand will come beneath the shoulder, shin blocker mat. Right hand either at the hip or reaching up to the ceiling. Triangle pose, Uttita Trikonasana. Same thing, don't lock that left leg out. If anything, have a slight bend in the knee if that feels better to you or more stable. Root down to the left big toe. Press into the feet, come back to a stand. And then rebend the knee, warrior two. Take a few breaths here. Straighten the left leg, turn the toes to face the same way as the right. From here, we're going to bring the heels a little bit closer, toes a little bit wider. We're going to bend the knees over the ankles, coming towards a got squat. Hands will come to the thighs, and from here, just alternate dropping one shoulder down and then the other. And then we'll come back to center. Lift the chest, but keep those knees bent. We're going to take the arms out to like a cactus. From here, we're going to take an inhale. On exhale, bring the elbows towards one another. Inhale, open. Exhale, bring the elbows together. Inhale. Exhale. A few more. Inhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Hands through heart center. Straighten the legs. Turn the toes to face me. From here, we'll heel toe the feet together. We're going to come to Tadasana Mountain Pose at the front of our mats. From here, inhale, reach the hands up to the ceiling. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, lengthen the spine. And then on exhale, plant your hands, step back to a plank. You could always go straight to down dog if you'd like to, or if you'd like to go through a little flow, you can. Lowering it halfway chaturanga all the way to the belly. Inhale, low cobra, up dog. And then exhale, down dog. From down dog, release the knees, take a child's pose. Big toes to touch, hips to heels. Few breaths here. From your child's pose, come up onto the hands and knees. We're going to bring our elbows back underneath our shoulders. So we're going to bring the elbows onto the mat underneath the shoulders. So we're going to have a couple options here. First option is to take a forearm plank again. So you can extend the legs back, knees lifted, knees on the mat, whichever is best for you. Or we're going to either hands rooted or hands interlaced, same options as for forearm plank. Either one. We're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees, and lift the hips, coming to dolphin. We're going to walk those feet as close as we can in towards us. So same thing as we were doing earlier in forearm plank. We want to press the ground away from us with the arms. We don't want to sink into the shoulders. So press away with those elbows and forearms. Gaze goes towards the back of your mat, and walk the feet in as close as you can. Dolphin pose. We want the head hovering above the mat. We don't want the head on the mat. Breathe. Inhale. Release knees. Release hips. Take a child's pose. Hands can come by the feet. We're going to come back up onto the hands and knees again. Coming to forearm plank, dolphin, round number 2. So either hands rooted or hands interlaced. You come to the plank form or tuck the toes, lift the knees, come back towards that dolphin pose. If you're comfortable in dolphin, you might play with lifting one leg or the other or alternate. If you're by a wall, you can come all the way upside down into a Pincha Mayurasana. Breathe. Inhale. Release knees, release hips, child's pose. Bring the hands beside you. Come to an upright. We're going to come to a seat. So a seated position once again, a Sukhasana. You can always sit on your blankets if you want to. And from here, we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. We're going to let the knees drop wide. So options here is to use blocks underneath the knees or thighs for support. Feet could be close to you, or about 1 to 2 feet away from the pubic bone. If you have tight hips like me, that's a good option. And then from here, you can just lean forward. You can always use elbows to resist the inner thighs. Up to you. Take deep breaths here. Come back to an upright. Come to a Sukhasana once again. So either cross leg or legs extended straight out in front of you. Either one is great. Whichever is most comfortable for you. And from here, we're going to take the arms out to a cactus, a goalpost kind of position. Take the right arm across on top of the left. Either grab opposite shoulders or wrap the forearms coming towards an eagle arm position. From here, take the elbows to the right, look to the left. And take the elbows to the left, look to the right. And then we'll come back to center. Release the arms. Then we're going to go to the opposite side. Elbows come out. Left arm comes across on top of right. Either grab opposite shoulders or wrap forearms. Take the elbows to the left, look to the right. Take the elbows to the right, look to the left. And then come back to center. Release the arms. From here, we'll take the right ear to the right shoulder. Left hand can stay at the thigh or come out to the side. Right hand will come up and over and just gently pull to the right. Bring the right hand back to the right side, press the head back up. We'll go to the opposite side. Take left shoulder towards the left ear. Right hand at the thigh or out to the side. Left hand will come up and over, just gently pull to the left. Take deep breaths. back to the left side of the head, push the head back up. Just take the shoulders in a few circles, going one direction. And then the other direction. And bring the shoulders to a still. We'll gather the legs. We'll come to lay down on our back. Hug the knees into the chest. If you want to rock, you can, or stay still, up to you. And we'll come to a still, release the feet. And coming to our Shavasana, very much and well-deserved and earned. Legs could be bent or legs could be straight, depending on how it feels to you. Let your body be heavy on the mat. Let yourself have a few moments of relaxation before you go about the rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in for Strength and Flex. I am Katie Marshall. I hope you have a great rest of your day, week, and I look forward to practicing with you again. Namaste.